Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Golden League 2 for Age of Empires 4. This is the tournament hosted by EGCTV. We've got things heating up in the semi-finals. We've got Lucifron in the north, in yellow, playing as the Delhi Sultanate. He's going up against his brother Vortix in blue as the Ottomans. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to Dry Arabia, the first map in this best of 7. To see who will book their place in the grand final of this $70,000 tournament. And boy oh boy are things going to be heating up very quickly, because both these civilizations, the Ottomans and the Delhi Sultanate, are incredibly aggressive in the feudal age. The Delhi Sultanate of course play for that feudal age in the sacred sites. They can capture them in the feudal age. It's one of their bonuses, one of their strengths, one of their targets. The Ottomans have the military school producing free units, are a very aggressive civilization, don't necessarily have an economy bonus themselves, but have a military bonus with this free unit production capability. It has to be said though, Delhi Sultanate incredibly strong against the Ottomans for various reasons, because the Delhi Sultanate do very much thrive on that feudal age. They can bolster the production speed of their buildings as well with garrisoning in the scholars. That will help counteract the free units, but having said that, the Ottomans themselves do have a mechanic to increase the production speed of their units with the blacksmith. The production buildings within the influence of a blacksmith will produce those units faster, as we see the spearmen now heading north, possibly looking to deny or at least attack and harass these villages on gold. This gold vein is very far forward for Delhi, so that's not what he would have wanted here in terms of map spawn for Lucifron. Going up to the next stage with the Tower of Victory, which I very much like. It's a nice landmark in this matchup because you're going to anticipate a lot of aggression. The Tower of Victory increases the attack speed of infantry by 20%. That includes archers and spearmen, and I suspect we'll be having a lot of those. The Dome of the Faith would have been nice in terms of getting cheaper scholars, but when you anticipate heavy feudal age presence in terms of military, Tower of Victory is certainly a sensible option here on Dry Arabia. The two brothers will be looking to book in their place into the grand final. I won't spoil who they're up against. I have casted the other semi-final, which was between BTQT and Marine Lord. So one of those two players will be meeting either Vortix and Lucifron in the grand finals of Golden League 2. Villagers have been poked and prodded quite badly by the spearman actually. Villager is quite low on HP, less than half, and Lucifron needs to be careful not to lose a villager here. Does have enough obviously for the tech up. He's got the 200 gold, started building up the landmark already. But he'll want to have some scholars. Oh, he needs to be careful. Lucifron needs to back off with that villager. Might lose him. Oh, I think he loses the villager. That is a bad start there for Lucifron. Has managed to back off with that other villager. Only 8 HP left. And that spearman got huge value. Wasn't anticipating it getting that much value. A little bit of a miss micro. Maybe a bit slow to get going here. Lucifron needs to warm up, because I can't afford to lose too many more villagers, especially not in this highly aggressive matchup. It's going to be the Twin Minaret Madrasa landmark for the Ottomans. We'll be giving him free food in the form of berries, which are harvested 50% faster, and they are also replenished automatically. Going for stone, looking to potentially get that secondary military school as he advances to the feudal age. It'll be interesting to see which production building Delhi Sultanate go for first, whether it will be heavy infantry focus, considering the Tower of Victory, possibly an archery range, possibly barracks, well, possibly a stable. That covers all the options, really. We would commonly see a stable to get the map control and the horsemen out onto the field, but I wonder whether Lucifron will decide to play a more of a condensed economy. And considering he's got the Tower of Victory, spearmen and archers could be a nice option. It's going to be an archery range opening here for Lucifron in game number 1. Quite a few villagers on stone actually. I wonder whether this is for a second town centre or for a military academy. We'll have to see. It could be a military school. Now, military school does cost the Ottomans 100 stone, so with this next drop off, yeah, it's going to be just for a military school. Just wants to get it as soon as possible. It's keeping one more villager for the next military school, I believe. Has toggled this military school for the Sipahi production. Let's get that mobility nice and open onto the field. Now, the good thing for the Ottomans, opening Sipahi and obviously the archery range for Lucifron. It's not great for Lucifron as an opening unit. You'll need to really get an army composition together. Maybe a barracks for some spearmen. He's actually opted for the blacksmith first for the upgrades. Don't forget that the Delhi Sultanate have access to free upgrades, whether it be economy upgrades, and military upgrades in the blacksmith. It's going to be getting as stable as the secondary production building, so it's going to be horsemen archers for the Delhi Sultanate. A little bit unclear as to what Vortix is going to really focus on. It's got 2 military schools, both on Sipahi. So certainly a cavalry opening and an archery range. There we are. Yeah, the Ottomans do often go very heavy on the archers, so we shall see if he decides to do the same. The trouble for Vortix is that his archers are just going to be less good compared to his brother's choice of the Tower of Victory landmark, boosting up his archers. Has to be said though, the meta could come into play. The unique unit for the Ottomans, almost like a hero unit, bolstering up the Ottomans' army. We talked about it earlier about the blacksmith boosting up the production speeds. 25%, 33% and 40% through the ages. It's going to be second archery range. So double Sipahi production, double archery range production. Both players playing it relatively passive so far. Neither wants to get onto the field just yet. But I suspect things will change very quickly on that front. Lucifron, of course, getting those eco upgrades quite nicely. That'll be a nice bit of eco boost. And has to be said, as time goes on, I do feel like things matching up with this civilization matchup is better for the Delhi. And it's because of the eco upgrades. Both players are likely to stay on one town centre. But I certainly believe that the eco upgrades will be a lot stronger than the military school production. We'll have to see. Of course, if the eco is idle, then that won't help. Holy smokes, the gliding archer there. Bit of a aggression here for Vortix and Sipahi. Just harassing the berries a little bit. Unable to take the deer packs on the west side there for the Delhi. Not often they go for that anyway, but still would have been nice to have a delayed farming transition. Not that he's at risk of doing so just yet. He's got plenty of sheep. Going for the central sacred site, getting the walls nice and early. Delhi Sultanate benefiting from the fact that the infantry can build those palisade walls. A nice bit of gold income's about to come in for Lucifron. He's got eco upgrades coming in. Going to get some gold passive generation from the sacred site. Looking good for him so far. Some blacksmith upgrades are coming in for the Ottomans. Don't forget they're not free as they are for the Delhi. Now, palisade walls are almost up, but it looks like Vortix is heading that direction. Sipahi might engage against the archers, but he needs to be cautious not to dive in too quickly without the archer backup for the Ottomans. And so the palisade walls will go up in the end. And that's going to buy Lucifron quite a nice bit of gold. It'll take some time for Vortix to torch this down. Does have a couple of spearmen that can do that for him though. Certainly worth the investment. This will pay for itself back very quickly there for Lucifron. The wood investment, that is, the palisades. And as you can see, 1 out of 1 means that there is a scholar inside the stable, double producing or increasing the speed of production of the horseman. He wants the mobility, he wants the army in fast, and you could blame him. There are some spearmen though for the Ottomans, so that could be a problem. Archers are heading in to try and take the fight. Let's be careful, there are spearmen there in the mix. Oh, nice micro there by Lucifron, going behind the gates and shooting down one of those Sipahis, heading back into the fight. Just needs to hold on the sacred site for as long as he can, really. That'll always, each second delayed means more resources for Lucifron. He's going to head back now, and he's got 2 options. He can actually take an engagement or head back home. And I wonder whether he would take an engagement. Does have some good upgrades. It doesn't have the blacksmith upgrades just yet. It's quite slow to come in. We've got iron under mesh, but doesn't have steeled arrow. Vortix has steeled arrow. Just about to get iron under mesh. So this could be a good time for fighting here for Vortix. Does have spearmen in the mix. Horseman for Lucifron won't want to dive in too quickly. The sacred site is still under the control of the Delhi Sultanate, constantly getting that gold passive generation. Behind all of this, no other production building put down there yet for Lucifron. Back home for the Ottomans though, does have a barracks of his own. He's got a lot of production coming out. Having said that, the army numbers are pretty even. I think in large parts because of the scholar being garrisoned inside the stable. He backed off with the army though, Lucifron. I think he's aware that he just needs to hold on here. Doesn't need to take any unnecessary fights. He's getting eco upgrades for free. Here comes the meta, boosting up the army. Might actually take a fight here. Lucifron's got plenty of horsemen, but there are spearmen there in the mix there for Vortix. Something Lucifron needs to be careful about. He needs to snipe the spearmen with his archers, which is certainly a possibility. As we head into the almost 11th minute of the game, the sacred site in the middle has been neutralized now. Gold passive generation won't continue any longer. Yeah, scholars coming out to boost up the production rather than research. It's certainly see that it's really about production speed here. That's what's really being prioritized. Lucifron heading westwards. Thinks better of it. Doesn't want to engage just yet. Is quite happy and content with his economy doing the work for him. Sending another scholar forward. That could be a bit risky. He's going to guard it though with his army. Plenty of horsemen, plenty of archers. That's to say that the Dalisata do look to have a bit of a stronger army. Spearmen are always a bit of a tricky one to manage. If they can be picked up apart by the archers, that would become a problem. Vette's involved though. Okay, looking to get that sacred site again. Look to palisade up again. Cheap investment with the palisades is going to pull the scholar back, I think. The archer will be taken apart. Won't be able to get this secondary. Oh, he just gets a bit of HP on it. Nicely done. It does build pretty fast, and now it's going to have to be torched again. Do I think the sacred site will be capped, though? Yeah, it does get taken down pretty quickly. The Imam or scholar has to back off there. Oh, a couple of Sabai heading towards that wood line. I don't think it'll be able to do too much damage. Does have a scout for extra vision. The town centre is there. Nothing really to garrison. No, there are 6 villages there, actually. Could have garrisoned. Just relocating the wood line a little bit there. Bringing up the archers back at home. We should be able to defend pretty comfortably there for Lucifron. Back on the sacred site, though. Has been denied. Gate is on fire. Oh, Lucifron diving in now. He wants to take an engagement. He's going to pick up some of the reinforcements. This is a problem for Vortix. His army's not there at all. And he's going to lose a couple of units. Even if they are free, still units that are being picked apart. Nice play there. Spearmen are engaging. Archers being brought home for Vortix. This actually leaves a window of opportunity for Lucifron to recapture that sacred site. Although there are a couple of Sipahi patrolling. Nice work there by Vortix. He's aware that by putting his army back, does leave it a bit vulnerable for that sacred site to be captured again. So he keeps a couple of Sipahi there, keeping Lucifron honest. Good mobility with the horsemen. But on the east side, that sacred site has been capped now. Again, more passive gold generation for Lucifron. We've already got 499 in the bank. Nice bit of gold. Could actually help him get to that next stage. We shall see if he manages to do so. The army looking incredibly strong for Vortix. Things are starting to head in his favour, actually. I think now as the game goes longer, the free military is really buffing things up for him. And I think he's going to take an engagement. Compound of the defender. It's going to be the Castle Age tech up there for Lucifron. Oh no, I don't know why he's put it so far forward. This is, I think this is a big misplay. He does have 17 villagers building it, but I don't know. If Vortix spots that, and it could just spot that, that could be incredibly painful. The sacred site is being denied in the middle. Right side of sacred site is in the control of Lucifron, but this is a problem. Compounding the defender. Oh no, he's going to lose villagers, and there's no way he's going to get this landmark up. I think Vortix is just going to camp here. He's got more, even with the Tower Victory buffering, even on the town centre. I think Vortix just takes the fight. The meta going to help the situation. Villagers going down, 39 to 43, and a lot of idled economy. 15 villagers are idled, almost half the economy. Archers backing up, but it's not going to be enough. 70 military to 43. This is bad news for Lucifron. He put the compound the defender on the front lines. To be honest, even if he didn't put it on the front lines, put it on the back, it still would have been problematic because the army is absolutely huge here for the Ottomans. Archers on archers, spearmen there, going to get involved as well. At home, a couple of horsemen looking to get some value, but it's not going to do too much. They're not where they're needed. They're needed back at home, and there it is. There's the tap out. Lucifron taps out of game number 1. Vortix with the first blood on Dry Arabia. Don't go anywhere, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 coming right up. Welcome back. Game number 2 between Lucifron and Vortix. We've got Vortix spawning in the south of the map, playing in blue as the Rus. He's going up against Lucifron, of course, in yellow, playing as the Holy Roman Empire. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Golden Heights. Game number 2 in this best of 7. Things will be heating up. Lucifron will want a response, that is for sure. And it'll be interesting to see if either player has gone out for a dock yet. Of course, the scouts are looking to get the bounty, kill the deer on the hunt. As many as possible. There are 3 villagers going out there on the east side for Lucifron, looking to cement his position with the dock. And now the Rus actually will be able to wall in their dock if they can get there first, but it doesn't look like he's actually sending any villagers there. Actually, I take that back. There is 1 villager going out, and walling up will be pretty quickly done for the Rus. Builds in 3 seconds each palisade wall, and it is fortified as well. This is a problem. He sent 1 villager, and sending the scout as well, but what he is about to find out is Lucifron's got 2 villagers, and they are starting to poke and prod. And that's a concern for Vortix. He actually has to head back. That's a lot of idle time. And Lucifron will possibly continue the chase. Probably not necessary. Probably should just bring that villager back home. I'm not sure if he'll get the kill. Not unless he sends a scout there as well. Or could be aggroed on the villager there for Lucifron. Lucifron needs to be careful not to lose out on a villager here. Oh, the wolf is actually going for the village as well. Does get another hit potentially. No, going for the wolf instead. Oh, he's actually going for it. No, he's I think he's gonna get away with that one. Yeah, the villager there for Lucifron is gonna head back, and the dock is up and running now. That's actually a problem for the Rus in the short term at least, because deep water fish will be coming out pretty soon to be taken. These fishing ships will be coming out, gathering food very, very fast. And don't forget the boosting of the prelate as well by 40% gather speed. Early on, the economy for HRE is incredibly strong. Hasn't invested in the lumber camp just yet. It's going to drop in the wood. Going to go for the stragglers first and rely on that, and then look to drop a lumber camp. Maybe even looking to get an arc and chapel on the wood line. And that gold. We'll have to see. The good thing for the Rus though is he has been getting gold passively, of course, with the hunt and the bounty system, as well as the hunting cabin. 27 gold per minute coming in with that hunting cabin. Second fishing ship is up and running already for Lucifron as we head into almost the 3rd minute of the game. Economy looking strong there for the HRE, that's for sure. That food count gonna rise pretty quickly in the next 2-3 minutes or so. And there's gonna be a lumber camp placed down on the smallish wood line. Now it is an interesting map, Golden Heights. You've got obviously the raised terrain with plenty of gold veins there. And then of course on this eastern side, as we've discussed, we've got this pond with the fishing ships coming out there for HRE already. 2 points to attack from really. One is between the two wood lines and between the two players. The other is across the heights where there is a central sacred site. 2 sacred sites on this map, and it will be the Kremlin being placed, looking to protect that gold vein and also boost up the lumber camp gathering. Going up with 5 villagers will offer the option to get those Kremlin gremlins, those militia, out on the field if he needs to harass the opponent, and could be an issue for Vortix. He kind of needs to address the fishing economy here. Can't let this untouched for too much longer. It's really going to start to get out of control, you feel. Just scouting with that fishing ship does spot another deep water fish. Just 3 deep water fish, but still a decent amount of food. 3,000 food to be had, and it's very fast to gather. It's now going on to gold. The uptime will be a bit delayed, of course, for the HRE investing in the fishing ships. But that'll pay back for itself very quickly. Just needs a bit more on gold. Surprised not to see the prelate here boosting up the villages on gold. Let's go for the wood instead, though. There's plenty more villages here after all. There are 9 villages there, all being inspired. Kremlin is nearly there. I wonder if Lucifron is going to try and rush up the landmark for the feudal age. With plenty of villages, we'll have to see. Time will tell. Still lagging on the gold count. Food coming in thick and fast. 5 fishing ships for now. Continues to invest in many more. Now, despite there only being 3 deep water fish, there are plenty of shore fish that fishing ships can obviously take. So that'll be very appealing for him. There's going to be an arc and chapel on that wood line and the gold and the town centre, as we kind of anticipated. Going to wall up as well. And I think Lucifron doesn't need to pressurize the issue because he's got the fish. He's got the economy boosting up with the prelate, and it's probably on the Rus's side that he has to push forward. Gonna go for a second town centre, it seems, Vortix. I don't know how I feel about that. It just feels very rough trying to out-eco the HRE. We'll have to see how this one pans out. Sending villager on the west, looking to wall up the relics. Of course, relics is a key feature of a HRE play, especially if they go up with the Regn's Cathedral. It's a nice relic there to protect. There is a relic here at the back that Vortix will be hard to deny. It'll be very hard for him to deny. There's a relic in between the 2 players, and one here that Vortix will be quite happy to look to contest. He's actually starting to build palisade walls around it. One a bit closer to the shoreline as well. Almost there with the Ark and Chapel. And I suspect it'll be a fast castle behind this. We'll certainly have the food income coming in, 600 food per minute. It's just gold that's really lacking. But now with the prelate boosting up the villages on gold, and with 6 villages on gold, it shouldn't be too long before he's got the gold to the castle. He's adding more actually as well. Yeah, certainly would be a fast castle, maybe a race for the relics. I've got the palisade walls up, and this will buy a lot of time because palisade walls do have 2,500 HP. They are fortified for the Rus, and they're very quick to build, as you can see. Palisade walls coming up to wall up as well on that wood line. So it looks like the eco is heading that direction for that fast castle. Double broad axe coming in for the Rus and Vortix. Got wheelbarrow already. Yeah, the fishing economy is so strong, and I just don't know what Vortix's game plan is. He's not challenging this yet, the water. He's just letting it go untouched, and I don't know how I feel about that. It feels it's a bit too greedy to let that slide. I'm not sure he's going to be able to find anything to match. Even a second town center just won't do it. Go for a second town center on the woodline golden hunt. So not a bad spot though, has to be said. Looks like it's another hunting cabin going up there for the deer. Yeah, it's going to be Castle Age here. Almost 7 minutes 20 seconds. Where's it going though? It's going to be a burger. Oh, he's going to play this very aggressive, and this spells a lot of problems here for Vortix. Go for a second town center, and he's not going to be able to produce units. That is a big problem. The Burgrave Palace is going to be absolutely huge here for Lucifron. He's going to spam man-at-arms, and he's going to have the economy to do it. He's got untouched fishing economy for the food income, and he's got the prelate in the Ark and Chapel boosting the villages on gold. This spells a lot of trouble. Vortix is going to struggle here. There's no knights on the field. In fact, no military on the field for Vortix. I was going to keep this one out. He's going to have to rely on the fortified palisades. Wow, he really is walling up. But there's no castle age in sight for Vortix, and well, Burger Palace is almost done. 11 villagers building it. Nice strategy here for Lucifron. Relatively passive opening, but things are certainly going to heat up in game number 2 in this best of 7. Setting 2 villagers there, Lucifron. Maybe to chop through. That will be a good play to get through the palisades very quickly. Chop through the 2 villages, and the palisades will not be able to do their job, and the man-at-arms will rush in. Not producing any just yet. We're going to get upgrades. Iron Undermesh first. He's not giving away his hand. I think he might be looking to build up unit numbers before starting to pressurize the issue. But so much wood being invested in the palisades. Vortix playing this super greedy, and I'm not sure a 2 town center is going to cut it here. Looks very risky. You can hear the chimes of the Burger Palace. I think man-at-arms might be starting to queue up. Yeah, they are. They're coming out. Looks like he's looking to just wait till he gets that critical mass talked about earlier. See how he manages. Trouble for Vortix. He's probably not going to have enough time for the eco to really come online for him. He is edging towards that castle age though with the resources, but it could just come at a bad time when he techs up. In fact, you know what? It could be the case that Lucifron actually waits for Vortix, his brother, to get to that castle age. Because then he knows that the investment has been done into that castle age tech up, and that means he won't have the military. As I say that though, he's starting to move forward already with 9 man-at-arms, 10 man-at-arms. And they're heading forward with the upgrade now in. Marching drills coming in soon. I think he actually cancelled the marching drills. These are now fully fledged castle age man-at-arms, and he has chopped through. Looks like palisade walls coming up again for Vortix, but the villagers are rushing there. They might be able to get it in time. We'll have to see. They build very, very fast, and there are 4 of them. He's going to get the foundations up. He should be able to manage it. Oh, he just... No, he's not paying attention. Oh, he is. Gets the palisades up. Look how fast these palisades go up. That's incredible. I think villagers are going to come out again to chop, though. He should be able to torch this down. This is a problem for Vortix. He needs a way to defend this position, and he just doesn't have any military. He can get another palisade layer up. I have to say, the palisade layer building for the Rus is kind of broken at the moment. That's just ridiculous how fast those go up. He is chopping through again, torching it down as well, but the Abbey of the Trinity is the landmark of choice for Vortix, trying to play this the late game and not going for the hunting cabin at this point, going for the relics instead, whatever remains of them. To be fair, the relics are available. So to get another palisade wall up, and the trouble for Vortix is Lucifron can pretty much spam man-at-arms, and these are castle age man-at-arms. They're going to break through eventually. Again, more palisade walls coming up. Try to hold on for as long as he can, but I'm not sure if he'll make it in time. Villagers need to come out on these. The walls are getting bigger and bigger to cover. He's going to have to send more villagers. Scouts there trying to delay things. I think the palisade walls will go up in terms of foundations, but these will come down quickly. Oh, there's one bit open. Vortix is one bit open. Palisade walls are up again, but the numbers of man-at-arms are starting to climb very quickly. We need to repair this. I think the man-at-arms do get through here. I think once they get through, that might be GG. Vortix has not made a single military unit. This is so greedy. 34 military versus 0. And Vortix is going to struggle. He's going to funnel things to the TC if he can. He gets to that castle age. I think the man-at-arms break through though. Yeah, they do. They get through. The primary town centre is garrisoned with villagers. But he has nothing to counter this. Nothing whatsoever. Well, the villagers going to have to dive into the Kremlin. 16 villagers are idle now, and no, Lucifron won't mind this at all. He can just dive this with the man-at-arms. He's got iron undermesh. He's got the second armor upgrade as well, pierce armor. And he's going to dive the Kremlin. He could just torch this down. This is a problem for Vortix. Needs to invest into archer ranges and crossbows as soon as he can. Does have the 2 archer ranges, 3 archers, 4 archer ranges. But the problem for Vortix is, well, the man-at-arms are just going to camp this. He's not going to be able to build up to any meaningful numbers. Does have the militia looking to push things back a little bit, but Lucifron just sending more man-at-arms. And the man-at-arms might start to target the archer ranges to stop out the crossbows coming out. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. A quick turnaround. Lucifron evens up the set 1-1. We're going to head in to game number 3. Welcome guys, back to game number 3 between Vortix and Lucifron, with Lucifron spawning on the east side of the map in yellow as the Ottomans, going up against his brother, of course, Vortix on the west in blue as the Mongols. We're on Dry River, a map with multiple ponds in the middle of the map, and 2 civilizations, very aggressive from the get-go even, can be Dark Age aggression for both. Speaking of aggression, there's a villager going out to build a dock, and that could be prone to aggression. We shall see what the Mongols are up to, whether there'll be a barracks dropped. I suspect there will be on the Ovu, looking to double produce with this stone, I suspect with some spearmen. No military school coming in there for Lucifron, spending the wood on the dock first, of course, and then we'll be looking to probably put a barracks down. I mean, with this matchup on this kind of map, contesting the middle can be very important. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of aggression, but we'll have to see how this one pans out. It's what we expect, but doesn't necessarily happen, as a villager does go forward for the Mongols now to get a dock of their own. There is that dock. Oh, he cancelled it. I think that's actually a nice spot there. Won't actually cancel any fish. I'm not sure if there was fish there at all, but just wanted to wait for the wood. I think he might have put down the barracks instead. No, he just cancelled it and rebuilt it. It is what it is. Oh, this is very interesting. Lucifron going for a forward barracks, and that will be looking to defend that dock. That's an interesting play, and that means that reinforcements would come in very soon to the fight. But no barracks yet there for Vortix. Getting the Gur to pick up the sheep on the map. A very weird mechanic for the Mongols, but it seems to be working. No spearmen queued up just yet. Struggling on the food. Oh wow, it's going to be a double barracks play for Lucifron, going super aggressive. Can't actually even produce out of one yet, but he's opting for a second already, and I suspect he'll get the food in from the fishing economy, of course. Relying on stragglers just for now. We'll need to drop a lumber camp relatively soon. He's running out of straggler trees. Back at home, interestingly enough, no blacksmith, no barracks rather yet. He can't afford it. We'll tell if he can drop one down once he hits 150 wood, sending 2 villagers out there. So I suspect it will be a barracks. Yeah, it is indeed. This does mean that Lucifron has the production capabilities earlier, and he's double producing spearmen. Spearmen will be out on the field quicker there for Lucifron. That's the problem for Mongols. He'll be able to double produce once the barracks is up, but it's not yet up and running. The question is whether Lucifron can sustain the double production. He can't just yet. They are slowly but steadily going out onto the map. Lucifron still long distance gathering the wood, not dropping that lumber camp. Interesting to see if he drops it now. He does indeed. Khan spots out the 2 barracks and is just slowly working away at that villager. Spearman heading across the map, looking to put some pressure on that dock. Scout was already there, starting to torch. Spearmen are coming out in pairs here for the Mongols. Double producing with the Uvu. So they're going to be helpful. Another batch comes out as well. So just one barracks will be able to match production, really. At least for now. So it's going to come down to micro. The wolf is on the case. Could get poked and prodded. Good initial engagement there for Vortix. Losing a lot of valuable HP, those spearmen there for Lucifron. Not an ideal start. Continuing to produce though. Early on, it's much less of an investment for the Mongols. This stage of the game at least. And the pressure hasn't really been able to come in there for Lucifron. Unfortunate circumstances, wolves getting in the way. And a bit of miss micro there. Well, Vortix was in a favourable position with those 2 initial spearmen. Going to hang out in the stealth forest for now, 6 of them, those spearmen. Oh, he loses a scout there, Lucifron. That is actually huge. Losing a scout, a lot of valuable information won't be able to be gathered now. Might need to actually produce another scout. We'll see if he queues one up once he can afford it. Get the feeling he has to. We'll see if he invests in it though. No, he's going to go for villagers instead. Going to have to rely on his army to do the scouting for him. Might look to just be aggressive at this point. Investing in 8 spearmen. It really does come down to who decides to go to the field age first and how badly, or kind of the timing of it really, because whether either player can get caught out. 7 spearmen there for the Mongols. I think Lucifron continues to produce 8 of them. More coming in, and he is hell-bent on taking down this dock, and if he does, that could be incredibly strong. He's going to actually take down the fishing ships. Should be able to get maybe one of them? No, it doesn't manage it. Surprisingly enough, the spearmen don't do all that much damage. Takes the engagement. Pulling away the weak ones. Oh, I don't know why he's putting these 3 spearmen away and not the others. That was weird for Lucifron. Pulled half the army away and they just weren't fighting. First blood comes out there for Vortix. He picks off a spearman. Having to kill the wolf as well. And a lot of these spearmen are low health and I don't think he can take this fight. 10 versus 9, but a lot of these are weak spearmen there for Lucifron. More are coming. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Khan joining into the fight though. What's quite nice is the deer could be taken by the villagers that were there, or the one villager. Looks like the villagers pulled away. And he's going to go for the dock. Going to slowly start torching it down. Vortix is not in position. He's going to chase in now. Lucifron reacting. Maybe gets another torch out. Yeah, he does, and he's going to fight. He's going to take the fight. Going to be an interesting way. Oh, the 2 imams coming in to heal up. That is a nice use of the vizier point. Fantastic use of the vizier point. And now this dock will be under a lot of pressure. Get the feeling that Vortix won't be able to keep this alive. It's actually sending a couple of villagers there. Maybe to try and repair it, but that's not going to be possible anymore. That dock will go down, but the tech up is complete, or is coming up to being complete very soon. Does drop off the food there, what was remaining there for Vortix. 7 villagers on the Deerstone. We'll get to that next stage. Archers will be on the menu, I suspect. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lucifron look to try and tech up soon as well, because he kind of needs to. That's had a large investment, though, of spearmen. Surprisingly affording all of it. Going to take out the fishing ships. And looks like Lucifron's going to go up with the twin minaret madrasa, building up with 6 villagers, but field age is in play now for the Mongols. And it is indeed the archer range, going to be rushing up with 3 villagers, needs to push up away these spearmen before they do more damage. Oh, but this is a good play by Vortix. Feels like Lucifron was a little bit greedy there, going for the fishing ships rather than coming back home to defend that dock. Need to come back quickly though. Does he pull the spearman? He does. Yeah, he went for the fishing ships instead. They have been dealt with though. It means that, well, Vortix can't just immediately dock and fish again. No, at least he's lost his existing fishing ships. Oh, now this one might lose his dock, and that is problematic. Good play there by Vortix. Yeah, I don't think Lucifron's going to get there. Waypoint is still sending the spearman that direction. Oh, that is rough for Lucifron. Missed the opportunity to pull those spearmen back home to defend. And Vortix says, well, what you can do, I can do as well. And don't forget the raiding bounty that Vortix will get out of this. As keeping it a detail, does drop off the food for now, but loses the dock. Lucifron is sending another villager though to redock, and that will help bring the food back in. That is the one big difference that Lucifron has managed to do versus Vortix. Vortix can't simply just drop another dock and fish again. See a couple of archers on the field, 4 of them. They can look to try and take the engagement, and Lucifron knows that his opponent is ahead in the tech up and in the field age, so expecting archers to come out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sipahi coming out stables for the Ottomans. Has gone for a second dock. I don't know if that's a little bit greedy. We'll have to see. Imam coming in to help. I mean, there are only 4 archers. If Lucifron can get into the fight and take out those archers, that will actually help him win the fight. There are more archers coming in, and it's going to be microed here for Vortix. Villager will be taken apart by the spearmen, especially with the movement speed, with the Khan being activated. And just needs to hold firm, he needs to hold his position, not throw away too many units. We'll lose 1 there though. That is unfortunate for Lucifron. He just gets away. I think he loses it in the end. Yeah, he does. But now it is on 2 docks. Vortix sending villagers out to build another dock of his own and to re-establish fishing economy. Surprisingly enough though, the food per minute not that much higher for Lucifron compared to Vortix. Vortix, has he dropped down some of these pastures? He has indeed. Move the villagers back out to wood though, because he's looking forward to fishing. Oh, might lose a fishing ship there, Lucifron, pretty cheaply. That dock hasn't paid off yet, that's for sure. Do see a stable back at home. It's going to be a stable and 2 military schools looking to get those 3 units. It'll take some time for those units to build up in numbers though. Military schools are, you know, the most fastest producing buildings out there. And Lucifron needs to be careful. He's going to lose a lot of fish. Archers there picking off and sniping those fishing ships. And good pushback here by Vortix. Economy levels, numbers at least between the 2 players relatively even. Lucifron looking to get some eco upgrades, double broadaxe and wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow's been in play for Vortix for quite some time now. And it looks like Lucifron just needs to consolidate his economy, but make sure these fishing ships stay alive. But we need to be careful not to run into those archers though. That could become a problem, especially if the Khan has the maneuver arrow. He doesn't, still recharging it seems. Oh no, he can't. He's got the attack speed arrow to use. Something Lucifron has to be very careful of. Secondary dock coming out now for Vortix himself, and the good thing for Lucifron is that he's getting 3 units out of this, both military schools onto Sipahi, and look to get a meta from the stable. All the archers focusing on the efficient ships. Scared Lucifron can't take the fight though, not with just spearmen. Gonna have to garrison the weak fishing ships and take it turns. He might lose one here. Suspect he will lose a fishing ship. Gonna trade out a little bit there. Oh, nice micro there by Lucifron, that's for sure. Spearmen dive in, just biding the time. Needs to be careful not to lose the imams though, that is for sure. Amazing micro there by Lucifron, not to lose a single fishing ship. Pretty surprising, he managed to do that. Pretty epic. Meta joining the fight with the drums, and the Sipahi coming out slowly but surely, building up in numbers now. The good thing for Lucifron is he's continuously healing up his units. But look at the military numbers, relatively dead even actually, but just coming out in the north, maybe to the deer pack, building an outpost, maybe we get some vision as well. There's a boar out there to be taken too. Khan needs to get out of there, probably will do. Just sending one Sipahi to chase, bringing the army back towards the docks it seems. I'm not sure if Lucifron has scouted this out. He did lose his scout very early on. Has replaced it though. Both players just going on either side of the forest. Needs to be careful. The spearmen aren't caught out by the archers. I think Vortix probably spots this now. Imams might be picked off. That's the problem for Lucifron. He needs to keep those imams safe. He's going to take some damage against the imams. He'll probably lose. No, he's going to get away with it for now. Spearmen take a lot of damage though. Sipahi try to run in to get a bit of raiding damage. They do think better of it and head back now. Wants to defend the fishing economy. Military numbers are starting to build up though for Lucifron. He's benefiting from the military schools. Getting those 3 units healing up as well with the imams. Keeping those units alive for as long as possible here. Vortix brings the military back at home. Has got a second town centre now running on the deer pack. And that's going to be a nice bit of eco boost there for Vortix in the medium to long term. Looks like Lucifron might be edging towards that castle age though. He's got plenty of food in the bank. Looking to try and get some more gold I suspect. And if he does get that tech up, well, Vortix is not too far behind to get to the castle age himself, and he will have 2 town centres, so that eco leader is going to start to expand even further, and Lucifron might lose some fishing ships if he's not careful. If he's not spotting it, Sipahi runs into trouble. The army is in position though for Lucifron, so doesn't have to adjust those fishing ships at all, just for now at least. Sipahi dive in, going to take a few stabs at that spearman, but the spearman pushes them back, and it's going to be a good fight. Lucifron should be able to take this fight and win quite comfortably. Quite a lot of archers there, quite a few Sipahi for Lucifron. Needs to keep them alive, not to run into those spearmen. The archers there for Lucifron are going to pick apart the spearmen if they can. The focus is on the Khan first, and the archers taking good damage on those spearmen. Spearman numbers starting to dwindle. It's going to be a tech up there for Vortix, but this is probably not coming at a great time for him because he's under a lot of pressure. Spearmen engage against the archers. Archers in the back line there for the Ottomans, picking apart the reinforcements. Well, the reinforcements can't get in actually. He's not actually adding anymore. Doesn't want to commit to the archer line for now. Spy, look to dive on those archers. Archers being micro, trying to get as much value as them as possible. Imams and Meta staying far back. He doesn't want to lose those units, that's for sure. The Meta's doing great work, The two Imams healing up the Sipahi as well. Oh, the Imams need to be careful not to lose their lives. It doesn't feel like he has enough. It does lose. I think he loses one of the Imams, but overall takes out the army. Vortix doesn't have a single... Well, he has a couple of units, maybe 3 or 4. Doesn't have a standing army, and that's a problem for the Mongols. He's under pressure. Lucifron could pile on the pressure. He's going up to the castle age himself, but he has a much larger standing army. 47 units versus 3. That was a great decisive fight. Can he make him pay for it, though? He's piling pressure. Maybe look to target the fishing economy because it's completely unguarded at this point. I think Lucifron might be doing just that. As to be said though, Vortix does have the villager lead, the eco lead. It's not with economy that you necessarily win the games. It is ultimately the economy, the end goal is to produce more units. And you can definitely say Lucifron has more units. We hear relics being picked up now for Lucifron. Going to consolidate his economy, looking to wall up as well to reduce the raiding potential for the Mongols. Something they're very strong at, but with the walls that will certainly nullify that. Spearman being sent out, he spots the docks. I think he just spots it now and going to send units that way, I suspect. Now with the Mehmed Imperial Armory, that's going to help him produce those siege engines for free. The blacksmith is boosting that up, the speed of production at least. 59 military to 9, and I suspect if Lucifron knew about this, he'd be aggressive. Not sure if he knows. A couple of lancers are coming out now though for the Mongols. Gonna head in the south, and talked about their raiding ability being nullified by palisade walls. This is great work by Lucifron. It's still open, so just be careful. Does have a lot of production though to reinforcement fight army that might be coming that way. 4 lancers on the Khan. 1 relic deposited for the Ottomans, another coming in shortly. There we are, there's a second deposited now, and it's been a very nice gold income. Army just camping out, building up the Ottomans. It's waiting for the veterancy, it seems. Veterancy for the archers, veterancy for the spearmen. Oh, the knights are going to head round. I mean, Lucifron should see this. He might head forward himself. Better just come out. 2 lancers himself. Takes a charge attack. Can't take the fight, doesn't have the numbers just yet. And it does look like Lucifron is heading back. He's got a couple of units in the north. Well, just 1 lancer. There is a spring on replacement in the 2 towers though, so that will certainly hold the position. Might lose 1 or 2 villagers at max, and good thing he had the outpost, it certainly helps. Oh, doesn't manage to lose another. Just 1 villager lost there. The lancers are heading back home though for Vortix. Spearmen enough to push that back. Might lose a spy if he turns around and fights there. Looks like crossbows are being added into the mix. Yeah, it is indeed the case. A 3rd military score, 4th military score. Now it's going to look very strong. Things might start to spiral out of control. I think we had the Mehmed Imperial Army produce that mangonel as well. I feel like there's going to be a push coming in very soon for the Ottomans. I'm not sure the Mongols have enough here. Vortix has an economy, but it's going to take time for that to pay off. Not sure he has much time. A lot of veteran spearmen. And it's just almost like 4 lancers here. 4 lancers, 15 lancers and 2 crossbows. That's just not going to be enough. Not against the number of units here that the Ottomans have. Fish now have been expired in the north pond for Lucifron. 89 military. I think he needs to push. He's being very patient, bringing in a 3rd relic. 2 relics will be coming in for the Mongols though. Another Vizier point has been activated. Wouldn't be surprised for him to get the siege one, to get a unit garrison in the siege engine. We'll have to see though. Not very clear. There's nothing on the tooltips for now. I think Lucifron feels like he needs to do something. Gonna send this army forward. Villagers will go down, or just at least the 1. Lancers are coming out. Oh, that's a lot of villagers. Lucifron needs to react. He pulls away the villagers. Good thing he does. Could have had a massive amount of casualties there if he wasn't reacting. The Imam will go down though, outside the mosque. But the army here is so big. Crossbows being caught out by the Sipahi. That is huge. Sipahi will pounce on that as best as he can. And the mangonel won't even be needed to take those apart. And trouble for Vortix is there's a lot of production buildings being camped on. Units are just going to torch those down. I think he's going to focus on the crossbows first. Mangonels can take effect on the production buildings. Loads of lancers though will be cutting off reinforcements. A lot of villagers there. There's the tap out though for Vortix. I think he knows that his opponent just has too much military. He's doing good raiding value, but it's just not quite enough. And game number 3 goes in the way of Lucifron. And we've got a series on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get on to game number 4. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 4. We've got Lucifron in the west, playing in yellow as the English, and Vortix on the right, playing in blue, also as the English. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an English mirror on the cauldron. This could get messy very quickly because there are 3 villagers going forward for Lucifron. So start building the dock. Both players are going to contest it. 3 villagers for Vortix as well, and it is very much a mirror match. The scouts are on hand as well. The only thing that's different really is that Lucifron scouts has a few more sheep chasing after it. Heavy on wood, of course, to be able to afford the fishing ships. It might just be a race to feudal age as well. One who goes to the feudal age will pack a punch with the military ships being able to come out quicker. And an interesting opening. It's going to be a mirror match to decide game number 4. Lucifron with a slight edge, slight advantage, 2-1. In this best of 7, things are getting towards the middle of the set right now. And so each game is going to be super, super important. If Lucifron can get a 3rd game under his belt, that would be a really, really strong position to be in. Vortix looking to even up the set with this game number 4. First fishing ship comes out for both players now, pretty neck and neck for both of them. Hope you guys are enjoying the casted games so far, this semi-finals. I have got the other semi-finals casted as well between Marine Lord and BCQT. Both players battled it out in a battle best of 7. Obviously only one of those players got to the grand final, and they will be met by either Lucifron or Vortix, one of the Spanish brothers. We'll find out who very soon. Probably going to be a very passive opening. Both players are going to just go to the feudal age now, you feel. I suspect we won't see any more aggression coming in. Only other aggression could have been a barracks for man-at-arms, but that will set up them back very, very far on the feudal age, and then, of course, the defender could get the feudal age with the attack ships up and running. Relying on the straggler trees just for now. Suspect we'll see Vortix putting down a lumber camp before too long. Lumber camp is now coming up for Lucifron. Certainly a lot of sheep there for Lucifron, 11 of them. Vortix has a decent number 2 though. 9. Of course, sheep is going to be the last thing on their minds. Of course, because of the fishing economy. But also because of the English have cheap farms. Of course, they would want to take the sheep first. Suspect it'll be Council Hall for both players, and it could just come down to who can attack first with their longbows. Who can get the initial advantage. Villagers going out to gold now, 4 of them on gold there for Lucifron. Looks like Vortix should be able to age up a little bit quicker. He's a bit closer to the mark in terms of gold at least, and the food income's looking good. Oh, sending 4 villagers forward here, Vortix. I wonder where they're going. There might be a close proxy Council Hall. We'll have to see. And it's going to be Council Hall there for Vortix, but he's going to be building that, yeah, quite close forward with the 3 villagers that were shore fishing as well. We're building it close to the middle. He wants to protect his position as much as possible. And he might be able to snipe out the fishing ships. I wonder whether Lucifron will be doing the same. He's actually going to be dropping it back at home. So the reinforcements will be a little bit slower to join the fight. That could be the big difference in this game. Both players though going for the council with 6 villagers. In fact, scrap that. Vortix going with 7, and he did start building it first, so he'll certainly get there first and might be looking to snipe some of these fishing ships, if not the villagers. Not a lot else going on. 3 villagers staying on gold there for Vortix. That will help him get the eco upgrades that he might want to take. 2 villagers on gold still there for Lucifron, so we'll be looking to get those eco upgrades as well, but a little bit less income coming in for him for the gold. As I say that though, Vortix does peel away the villagers off of gold. Looking to get a second town centre. 5 villagers on that stone. Looking to pile on some early pressure with the longbows and then transition to an eco advantage with the second town centre. See if he can make it pay off or not. If you can hold the waters, certainly would pay off. Villagers back off. Only thing for them to do. Gives them a bit of idle time. The longbow's now going to start firing off on those fishing ships. Gives Lucifron a bit of a problem to deal with. Lucifron now is up and running to that fuselage. Nothing in queue though from the council hall, surprisingly enough. I'd be looking to get stable there for horsemen instead. Doesn't have the wood. Well, he has the wood now for production buildings, but isn't dropping anything just yet. It's a bit of an odd one. The military ship is now up and running. Hulk coming out. Looks like it's going to be a demolition ship. Oh, this is a smart play by Vortix rather. Waiting to see what Lucifron will go for in terms of naval and military. Going to go for the naval arrow slits, protect that dock quite nicely, and then to get a demolition ship. Would be expecting to see an arrow ship coming out, or a galley, for Lucifron preemptively, because you should probably expect a demolition ship coming out soon. And Lucifron going for a second town centre himself, pushing the longbows back away with his council hall. There's a demolition ship, should lose that. Just did. Good connection, good trade there by Vortix. And just like Lucifron going to go for the naval arrow slits himself. Wouldn't be surprised to see a demolition ship coming out for Vortix to try and start working on this dock. But it looks like he might be focusing on land units instead. He's got enough stone here, Vortix, for that second town centre. Where will he be placing it? Probably on the deer pack, to be honest. Wouldn't be surprised if it's here. Just a bit short of wood. Just got the wood now. Yeah, it is indeed on that deer pack. Secures a source of food. Lucifron itching towards that second town centre. A little bit behind, though, compared to his brother. And in the middle, it's going to come down to Micro. Lucifron's going to lose a fishing ship, though. It's not what he would have wanted. Vortix had the presence of mind to save his fishing ship. Oh, Lucifron heading forward with a couple of longbows, looking to snipe some of the fishing ships. Nothing there, though, for Vortix. And this is going to look good, actually, for Lucifron, because the arrow slits should be able to do some decent amount of damage against the fishing ships. He actually pulls away, able to do some eco damage instead. Nothing in the vicinity of Lucifron's base. Gonna go for a second taste here on the deer himself. So very, very similar builds for both players. Not unexpected, both being brothers and practice partners. Wouldn't be surprised to see Vortix head forward with longbows himself to push this back. He does now. Neither player have any upgrades just yet. Looks like Vortix queued up a wheelbarrow though. Yeah, it's going to be coming in slowly. Does take quite a while for the wheelbarrow to come in. 1.5 minutes, I believe. Something thereabouts. Oh, Vortix managing to pick off another fishing ship. Manages to save that one, but well, this one is losing fishing ships here. A little bit unnecessarily. Because of the lack of micro. I was going to lose another one. And a second possibly. Yeah, he does. That is painful for Lucifron. Wasting his fishing ships quite badly. Does mean he's going to need to start focusing on land. And well, English aren't necessarily the worst civilization to have land economy on. With their cheap farms. Getting double broadaxe will help the wood income for sure. And Vortix losing a fishing ship. Pretty quiet start. I think that's what we tend to get with English mirrors. Both players go for that second town centre expansion. The fishing in the middle, still plenty of shore fish to be gathered, so they won't want to give up this middle area too easily. Longbows for Lucifron, just staying at home for now. Doesn't have a whole lot of villagers on gold. As I say that, it's sending out more. Maybe looking to get a castle age behind this. Plenty of food in the bank. So does Vortix. I think Vortix would head to that castle age a little bit quicker. He's affording survival techniques as well. We'll be gathering that deer pack even quicker. Triple stable. for Vortix. Yeah, he's eyeing up that castle age, and when he does get to the castle age, he's going to be going for mass knights. That would be great for his mobility. Looks like Vortix has an edge here. Lacking behind on food a little bit, but he is ahead on gold. Might be a similar time for both players. It'll be interesting to see how many villagers they sacrifice to the cause of building that landmark. And what landmark it will be, whether it will be the White Tower or the King's Palace. Because they are on 2TC, I would expect to see the White Tower. But it's actually going to be the King's Palace for Vortix, going to go for a greedy approach. Let's just see what Lucifron opts to do. Be interesting to see if he does go for a White Tower. That'll produce siege engines very quickly for him. It's going to be King's Palace himself, playing the eco approach. Both players mirroring each other in this English mirror match. Be 4 stables. Lucifron, what production buildings is going to go for stables themselves? 4 of them. Wow, these guys are doing exactly the same sort of thing. Only 12 villagers on the King's Palace though, compared to the 13 for Vortix. Relatively even though, we can't really split them apart. Oh, there's longbows there. Those longbows might look to snipe a villager or 2. Lucifron's not paying attention. He should lose 1 villager there. Vortix picks 1 apart. Oh no! He manages to survive. Holy moly. How that happened, God knows. But he does have the network of castles bonus. Vortix does have to head back. Doesn't have the numbers he'd want. A couple of those units are a bit low in health as well. Does lose a longbow on the retreat. Is walled up on the north. That's actually very, very important, especially considering he's coming up against 4 stable knights. Both players get into that castle age at very similar times. I'd be interested to see if they go for a monastery to try and pick up some of those relics. Both players on 3 town centres as we head into the 12th minute of the game. The knight numbers are going to be steadily increasing. A bit greedy with the walls there, Lucifron. If you can get them up on the northern side, northwest, certainly offer a lot of protection for his base. Nice, heading westwards. Longbows looking to pick out the scout. That's actually pretty impressive if you can get that done. Scout for Lucifron does go down. Probably needs to get another one now to get that vision on the field. And let's just take a look at where those knights were going. Going circling on the west side. Look, try and get some value. It's all walled up though. Has to find another way through. Eco upgrades coming in. Horticulture for Lucifron. Vortix with double broadaxe and horticulture already in the bag. Knights heading eastwards for Lucifron. Could be fine margins here. Knights versus Knights. Look at that. 63 economy to 62. 16 military to 14. Pretty neck and neck at the moment. In fact, Vortix has the numbers here. Takes the charge. 4 versus 4. I'm not sure why Vortix didn't bring the other knight with him. Where that knight is going, I don't know. But with the longbows in behind, that is a problem for Lucifron. He has to head back. Can't take the fight. Do you hear monastery, or at least the scholars or the monks coming out? And that is for Vortix. So Vortix can pick up some of those relics. That's where that knight is going, to protect that relic on the west. Sacred Site activated. Vortix will be aware of the movements of Lucifron now. Sending knights that way, looking to pick up the relic in the middle. Should do it. Charge attack comes off. Good engagement there for Vortix. Might pick off a knight. That monk won't be making it alive, you feel. Vortix should snipe it. Picked up a relic himself. Lucifron has picked up a relic. But yeah, I mean, I think the 2 knights are chasing it down. Doesn't quite know where it's gone. Lucifron trying to hide. The longbows will find that. Boiler going off, won't work though. 1 relic has been deposited now for Vortix, so he's got a bit of an edge there. Military numbers looking very strong for Vortix, and that might even get better with that relic gold coming in passively. Double blacksmith for Lucifron. He wants those upgrades coming in fast. Interesting to see where Vortix sends his second monk. Might be towards that relic it is in the south. Picks it up, is going to head home, and Lucifron missing out on a second relic. Does have this relic close to his base, but if the monk comes out here for Vortix to pick that one up, that would be absolutely huge. Army heading back home. Couple of knights heading there for Lucifron, but taking a lot of arrow fire from the town centres. Barracks are going down. Look for maybe spears transition, maybe man-at-arms. We'll have to see. Likely to be spears. I doubt man-at-arms at this stage. Not with this number of knights on the field. Rushing them down with the villagers. Knights being chased away. Good numbers of knights there for Lucifron. 16 versus 8. Feels like Lucifron... Well, Vortix rather. Looks like Lucifron is just holding back in production. It's going to lose a knight or two. Possibly loses a second. I'm not sure where Lucifron's military is in terms of... It's mostly longbows, actually. Surprisingly enough, I'm surprised to see Lucifron produce so many longbows. We'll do a decent job against picking off a knight or two. Needs to keep them alive, though. These are more of a meat shield, you feel. It's getting steeled arrow and iron undermesh. It does mean that Lucifron has less of a mobile army, but it's going to make a slow push of it, you feel. Especially with his ideas to wall up. Knights, though, going around the west side. Looks like Vortix wants to pressure the issue here. Oh, the knight's going to dive in on the north. We're going to pick off a knight or two. Thinks better of it, though. Vortix has better numbers, that's for sure. Good thing for Lucifron is going to pick off the knights before they can get a good charge on the longbows. Longbows for Vortix aren't in the fight just yet. They're trying to catch up. Good micro there for Lucifron. Going to pick off some of the weak knights. Needs to focus on the spearmen. Spearmen being added by Vortix. We saw it earlier with the barracks. But a great surround there by Vortix, and he might be taking this game number 4. So he's going to take a massive lead here. It's going to spiral out of control. That's often what happens with the English. Let's get good aggressive play, a good attack. Things really spiral out of control. Lucifron trickling in some knights, but the veteran longbows there for Vortix. Picking off reinforcements, and it just doesn't seem enough here. Even network of castles shouldn't be enough here. Counter this army, this huge army for Vortix heading forward. Knights diving in, and I feel like the tap out might be coming soon for Lucifron because this army looks unstoppable at this point. Massive longbows with knights in front, scout adding vision, and Lucifron's army is in shambles. They're scrambling away, trying to run away as best they can. He needs to go full retreat mode, and don't forget, Vortix behind this is picking up relics. He's already got 2 in the bag, picking up a 3rd. Longbows picking off knights on the retreat. Not looking good for Lucifron. He's being pushed back completely. Down to 9 military versus 42. Eco is pretty stable for both players, but the trouble is, with the military there going for Lucifron, Eco is going to be under a lot of pressure. Village coming off that wood line. They need to relocate. Does have the defender's advantage to reinforce, but those 2 knights are going to be caught off guard, and they will be taken down. And only 1 knight on the field there for Lucifron. That'll be easy to take care of. Oh, Lucifron going for forward farms. Those farms are not going to survive. Those longbows will pick those apart. That's for sure, and this is looking bad for Lucifron. Knights coming in as reinforcements for Vortix, acting as huge meat shields. A lot of them are weak in numbers, but that is it for Lucifron. Vortix evens up the set 2-all. Holy moly, what a set we've got on our hands as we move on to game number 5. Welcome back. Game number 5 between Lucifron and Vortix. Lucifron on the west side of the map in yellow as the Rus going up against Vortix in blue as the Holy Roman Empire. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Holy Island. And well, this is going to be an important map, that's for sure. Game number 5 in this best of 7 is even Stevens. Both the Spaniards have it all to play for to go into the grand final of Golden League 2. And on this map, of course, docking is almost mandatory, essential. Lucifron going with the dock there already. Same with Vortix. Both going up with 1 villager for that dock. And what's interesting is this civilization matchup, because both civilizations actually have very relevant eco bonuses. The Rus have the Kremlin or hunting cabin, well, rather, the Kremlin and the wooden fortress that can bolster the wood gathering speed, which will translate into a large amount of navy potential. Production of these fishing ships, which are very, very efficient at, well, gathering food. They do not have to drop off the food, so they just chill out here in the waters, gather plenty of food. And that also poses a bigger problem for the Holy Roman Empire, because even if, for instance, if on the off chance that this dock goes down, Lucifron might actually look to hide his fishing ships out into the oceans, still gathering food. So it's not just a simple case of deleting or getting rid of the dock. Vortix will have to actually scout the waters as well. The Holy Roman Empire, though, they have fantastic economy, with the prelate boosting up the gather speed of the villagers by 40%. They don't have to rely on any structures for that, just the prelate. That would be incredibly strong for the Holy Roman Empire. Already has 2 fishing ships out. Good thing about the Kremlin as an option for the Rus as well, that does offer some raiding potential. The wood lines on this map are pretty exposed at the back, although having said that, the town centre is actually relatively close by there for Vortix. It's actually very, very good for him, because sometimes you get this spawn with Holy Island where you get the sort of swelling near the town centre. That's exactly what happens. It means that the distance between the town centre and the wood line is not that great, so any Kremlin gremlins, the militia coming in, won't be able to do all that much damage. On a different generation, that could be a totally different story. Relatively quiet opening. Both civilizations tend not to be too aggressive in the Dark Age. We do see some other civilizations that have that potential on this map. Five villages on the gold, with the prelate coming out, looking to get that feudalage pretty fast there for Vortix, bringing in plenty of sheep, of course, as well. Not going to be reliant on that. Going to be looking to take the waters. There's the Kremlin going to be built with 6 villages there for Lucifron. On the backward line, that will act as a good protection for him, save him from any raids. 2 static defenses very close together on that wood line. Just the 1 fishing ship out so far. Going to send a forward one, a lodger fishing ship. That can be converted to an attack ship. And this is something that the Rus do really, really well. They can really pack a punch when they hit the feudalage nice and quickly. They can do a lot of fishing damage, or damage to the fishing economy. Vortix is going up with the Archenchap with 9 villages. Wants to get that feudalage time as soon as possible, because he needs to defend this position. Trouble is that fishing ship is almost there now. The good thing for the Rus is that he can actually continue fishing here whilst he's waiting for the conversion. He might even steal this fish. He is indeed. That's actually quite smart. He's taking the fish away from the Holy Roman Empire, and there's not a lot that Vortix can do against that. Kremlin is going to be built very soon. Archenchapel is on the way though. Will it be enough time there for Lucifron to convert this lodger fishing ship? He just needs to click the fishing ship to deposit the food. Doesn't quite have the resources to actually convert this. Actually, I take that back. It's converting as we speak into a lodger galley. Interestingly enough, it's still producing, it's still gathering food. I wonder if he's going to drop off the food just before it converts. He does indeed. 13. And there's the galley. That halts the fishing economy from Vortix already. And Vortix, unfortunately, hasn't actually got the wood economy to produce a galley of his own or either a springald ship. He's going to want to get a halt. Doesn't have the wood for it though. Not yet. Probably needs to get that prelate inspiring the wood. It doesn't actually have many villagers on wood. That's actually concerning. 10 villagers on food. He's going to go for a fast castle instead. I think Vortix is attempting to actually give away waters. I don't think it's challenging it, and that's a concern. I'm not sure how he's going to push this. Maybe a burger of palace build, but the trouble is with the Kremlin there, that could be an issue. Behind this, Lucifron might go to the castle age himself if he can scout this out. And the Kremlins are going to try and deny, or at least harass the gold. There are a lot of villagers on gold. I think Lucifron is aware now of that fast castle plan. Yeah, Blacksmith coming in for marching drills does indeed appear to be a fast castle build. No real other reason to get marching drills there. Lodger galley just going to keep the fishing ships at bay, or at least idled for now. Vortix trying to mic this as well as he can to gather the food. Trouble is, his fast castle is not going to be all that fast without the fishing economy. Let's have plenty of villagers on sheep. I talked about how they won't be reliant on sheep earlier on in the game. I take it back. It's been boosted by 40% with the Archenchapel though. Nice bit of boosting there, and there is the militia just constantly harassing the villagers. Again, delaying that fast castle. I wonder whether Lucifron is going to be going heavy on gold himself. He is indeed. 7 villages on gold. He does have fishing economy, and the good thing for the Rus is that this is a very fast source of food. So the fast castle time for Lucifron shouldn't be too far behind, but he does need to find a way to defend himself from a burger of palace rush. Giving up water though pretty easily. Almost there with the food, just needs a little bit more there, Vortix. And I'm sure he's going to be dropping down the Burger Palace. That is indeed the case. He's going to split the villagers onto gold and food now. Burger Palace going to spam man-at-arms. Should only be about a minute or two away for Lucifron to start building his landmark though. Plenty of villagers on wood, which is rather surprising considering he needs to go up. He's actually going to invest in feudal age army. Double arch range. In fact, it might just be prepping for the castle age. Looking to get crossbows. The trouble for Vortix is this very condensed economy. The Kremlin and the town centre. It's going to be hard to actually do some damage here, you feel. Well, villagers building that Burger Palace. Almost there now. 7.5 minutes on the clock. Third archery range going down there for Lucifron. I wouldn't be surprised to see the villagers on wood being pulled away. Needs to make sure he gets a lot of food. Actually, I take that back. He needs the wood for the fishing ships. That's how he's really funding his food economy. There's a double dock there. That food economy is going to be untouched and uncapped, and it's just going to be a little bit bonkers. I feel like Vortix is on a big timer with that fishing economy there up and running. That's going to be hard to stop. Going up with a high trade house. That'll give him a decent amount of bounty on the wood line, as well as being able to increase that bounty count. That will really bolster up his economy. And I'm going on the front line. The gold is very exposed though. He certainly needs that gold to be able to get the crossbows. The good thing for the Rus though is that it does have the ability to get gold from the hunting cabins. Going to be reliant on that. Doesn't actually have a hunting cabin as it is. He's getting the high trade house. As long as he can get some crossbows out nice and early, that'll save him, but he's going to leave some villagers underneath the town centre if he's not careful. Does garrison inside. Again, comes down to the condensed economy. 2 man-at-arms diving in, but not getting too much value. And look at this. Crossbow production, 4 archery range production. A natural counter to the man-at-arms, and yeah, Vortix is not going to get much value at all. No villagers lost just yet. That man-at-arms is going to be taking a lot of damage. A couple more man-at-arms trickling in, but again, with the crossbows that are about to pop out, he should be able to defend his position. There it is. Vortix, no way to deal with water. I think the game is really getting out of his grasp here. Vortix would have to transition into horsemen, but without the economy behind this, he's going to struggle. Lucifron with 47 economy units. Crossbow numbers building up. Fighting underneath the TC. More crossbows pop out at the worst possible time. Those 3 man-at-arms will be dead. The range attack as well, doing so much damage. Man-at-arms have to back off. Vortix doing almost no damage, and there it is. There's the tap out. The strategy just on point there for Lucifron. Vortix giving up water so easily, and Lucifron pulls ahead in this set, and it will be match point. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Match point, game number 6. Lucifron spawning in on the east side of the map in yellow as the Malians. Vortix, his brother, on the west side in blue as the Malians. Malians mirror on mountain clearing. And things are getting to the tail end of this set. It is 3-2 to Lucifron, and if he does win this game here on the east side, he will be progressing to the finals of Golden League 2, hosted by EGCTV. Vortix will have something to say about that, that's for sure. We'll see how this one pans out. Malian mirrors can be a crazy slugfest in terms of scouts. Warrior scout, a really strong unit for the Malians. Be interested to see how many of them are made today. 2 relics are spawning very close there to Vortix's base. That's a bit unusual, but well, Lucifron has the same. And well, we shall see how both players approach this game. Plenty of villagers on wood there for Lucifron, looking to source the houses around the pit mine. They do have a boar in the middle, of course, one of those sources of food that the Malians cannot take. Does have a sacred site in the middle as well, mountain clearing in the 1v1 format. And I suspect it might be a bit of a race to get to that next stage, the feudal age. Both players might look to try and put a Saharan trade network in a defensive position, maybe looking to secure the sacred site and the relic. Big gold vein there for Vortix to try and defend. Does have the gold vein at the back. Take if he so wishes. As we said though, the spawning of the big gold vein there for Lucifron at the back is something, well, somewhat of an advantage. And that will certainly help his position. That is for sure. Actually, I take that back. This is also a big gold vein. Both players having very relatively even spawns on this mirror match in mountain clearing. See, very, very even at the moment. Let's take a look at the villager breakdown and what resources they have it. 10 villagers on food for Lucifron, only 7 for Vortix. 8 now as we speak. It's going to be the Sahara trade network for Vortix in a really weird position. And we did talk about defending this position, but something to be brought into consideration is the boar. Aggroing the boar, that's exactly what Lucifron does. We've seen this time and time again. Those villagers are they're so much at risk. They need to try and get the Saharan trade network, but I just don't see it happening. Not with this number of villagers, only 5 of them. The scout just needs to keep aggroing the boar on the villagers. They're getting mauled to death, and that boar doing so much damage. Vortix needs to take care of that boar if he's going to be able to get the Saharan trade network up. Try and go around it. Lucifron causing so much damage. It's a lot of idle time in a mirror match like this is not ideal for Vortix. They're trying to be a bit greedy with the defensive landmark or defensive structure that can be a relatively strong position, but there it is. He taps out, and holy smokes, the boar play has done it. Lucifron gets to the grand final with the boar play. The boar pull changed everything in this match. Holy smokes, what a way to go out for Vortix. But it will be Lucifron going to the grand final of Golden League 2.